Martin Heidegger, a German philosopher, aimed to fathom the essence of being itself, or what he termed Dasein, in his seminal work Being in Time in 1927. While initially presenting an understanding of Dasein's existence as a means to access and address profound questions about being, Heidegger later acknowledged an anthropocentric error in his humanistic views. Before Heidegger proclaimed the end of philosophy, he delved into the etymology of Greek terms frequently employed in philosophical discourse. His observation revealed a historical misapproach to existence and meaning within the Western tradition, dating back to ancient Greece. This led to the concept of fallenness in being and time, illustrating the everyday existence influenced by the day self and external factors, a component of Dasein structure fixated on the present. For Heidegger, the emphasis on presence, where things are considered in the here and now, outside the temporal context, epitomized a misguided perspective in Western philosophy's entire historical trajectory. Rather than proposing new concepts, Heidegger's solution was to critically scrutinize the origins of Western philosophy's errors and revisit the time of these missteps for meditative reflection, a radical critique of the entire Western philosophical genre. Heidegger shifted his focus to being, attempting to explore its meaning independently of Dasein, while recognizing the ontological distinction between being and beings. He was solely interested in unraveling the essence of being and not the complexities of beings. Crucially, Heidegger contended that the true meaning of being could not be adequately expressed or described using the propositional language of traditional philosophy, logic, or science. This conviction stemmed from his belief that understanding the genuine essence of being necessitated a departure from the formalism of propositional logic and discussion prevalent in philosophical inquiry. According to Heidegger, the meaning of being is akin to absence. In other words, being is not a thing, never became a thing, and was never an entity. Accompanying this transformation is what Heidegger calls Kehre in German, or the turning in English, which is related to the truth or the concept of truth. According to Heidegger, truth is akin to the ancient Greek concept of aletheia, meaning disclosure or unconcealment. Instead of viewing truth as attributes of propositions or ideas in our minds, the primary meaning of truth is the development of things to us. In Being in Time, Heidegger describes humans as Lichtung, or disclosure in English, signifying light or a clearing in the forest. Essentially, Heidegger portrays Dasein, or human existence, as a place where being reveals itself. This is Heidegger's way of saying, like other philosophers, that we experience the world. However, as Heidegger seeks to avoid discussing Dasein based on Being in Time in his new perspective, he retracts this idea, stating that being itself is responsible for revealing and concealing. In essence, truth occurs when being exposes itself or discloses, and there is falsehood only when being hides itself or conceals. In connection to this, Heidegger wrote an essay titled On the Essence of Truth, added to his work in 1949. In this statement alone, Heidegger's philosophy, especially his late philosophy, proves intricate to understanding. However, decoding this statement is possible by grasping the principles behind the related terms. When Heidegger said, "The meaning of truth is the truth of essence," it implies that the meaning of existence of truth, or what truth means, is the revelation of existence, where existence is exposed or has disclosure. Here, Heidegger merely reverses the subject-predicate relationship, not I expose the world through my presence, but existence exposes itself through me. In Heidegger's central idea, existence is like a sheltering giving, where in its inherent existence, it can shed light on itself, or disclosure, or not concealment. For Heidegger, this has not been realized in the philosophical tradition from Plato onwards. Western philosophy has not seen this. So philosophy from Plato cannot surpass the Lichtung or light inherent in Dasein to understand that the revelation of truth is a product of existence itself at various stages of history. In other words, Heidegger overturns the tradition of idealism that began with Immanuel Kant, continued by Edmund Husserl. Rejecting his earlier influential work, Being in Time, where he identifies traces of this error from Plato to Being in Time, marked by humanism. According to Heidegger, the philosophical tradition in the West from Plato has a mindset that existence is aligned through humans or Dasein, or the attributes of Dasein like experiences, ideas, and concepts, such as Descartes' mental substance or Kant's synthetic a priori, where existence or the world is actively understood through the human mind. But now, Heidegger attempts to describe phenomena or things shown or observed or reality as performed by the disclosure of being. Thus, all thoughts in the history of philosophy for Heidegger are human-centered or anthropocentric, which for him is an error. Relatedly, in Heidegger's lectures on Nietzsche, according to him, in Nietzsche's concept of the will to power, where nature itself possesses absolute power, also originating from Arthur Schopenhauer's concept, here, according to Heidegger, the idea of the will to power is a metaphysical arrangement initiated by Plato himself. However, Nietzsche did not declare that he was continuing what Plato started. Heidegger's point is that the center of Western philosophy is power. Here, an attempt to understand being by understanding humans who place humanity at the center of inquiry and not being itself. In this way, humans conceptualize control over the subject of being. So, due to this observation, Heidegger considers humanism a detrimental thing for his philosophy. In connection to this, Plato's world of forms, akin to Immanuel Kant's Copernican revolution, asserting that humans don't passively shape their experiences but actively organizes them, Aristotle's theory of substances and ideas about modern science and technology in all aspects of Western tradition, being has become a victim of human actions. This means that our perception of being as something controlled by humans and as a subject always tied to human experience, and for Heidegger, this is an expression of what Nietzsche called the will to power. Here, Heidegger literally states that the entire history of Western civilization is an expression of humanity's will to power, declaring that humans desire to dominate being rather than understanding it. This remarkable analysis is evident in Heidegger's 1947 writing titled Letter on Humanism, a response to a French scholar. In this letter, published as an essay, Heidegger expressed his dissent with Jean-Paul Sartre regarding Sartre's treatment of existentialism as humanism. For Sartre, existentialism and humanism seems similar. Due to Sartrean existentialism, with no God, no nature, and no society guiding humans to determine what they want to do. we can say Sartre has a Promethean mindset in this matter, where humans have the power to do whatever they desire, and this is the source of their dignity. Therefore, for Sartre, by rejecting God in existentialism, humans are left responsible for their existence, where nature is valueless as it is just a being and not a unique consciousness. So, Sartre concludes that existentialism and humanism are essentially the same. However, this becomes the focal point of Heidegger's criticism, because for Heidegger, all humanism does is provide humans with a certificate to validate and dictate them as a conceptual scheme in being or existence. In connection to this, humanism is traditional and specifically linked to idealism and subjectivity, or the idea that humans as subjects are at the center of everything, or the most crucial part or bridge to understand everything seen in this world. And only through this, we can truly understand things or beings. This is a truth for religious traditions in the West, where although humans are created in the natural world, if humans are created in the image and likeness of God, it means that there is a close connection between humans and the origin of things or being itself, as well as things found in nature. So, for Heidegger, Sartre's humanism is just an extension of the history of metaphysics in the West, where its meaning is found in Nietzsche's concept of the will to power. But true humanism, or real humanism for Heidegger, where humanism is something that recognizes the truth about being, leads to the conclusion that a person's essence is only its openness to being. Alongside this, according to Heidegger, humans do not obtain the concept of themselves as masters of being, but as shepherds of being. Therefore, in his conclusion in his essay, Heidegger says the following: thinking that is to come is no longer philosophy because it thinks more originally than metaphysics, a name similar to philosophy. In connection to this, in his 1953 essay, The Question Concerning Technology, Heidegger presented a unique theory stating that technology places beings in framing as standing reserves. This means that Bestand, or standing reserve, implies that technology treats being as mere stuff or substance, like stored tools waiting to be used. Also, technology follows Justel, or enframing, where the benefits of modern technology and the scientific theories used to understand and operate them. Here, technology creates a structure or system that becomes a way to understand the world. Because of this, being is considered as a resource or wealth or inventory, as a condition following the being that is disclosed. Heidegger stated that people in modern times no longer experience being or existence as disclosed or revealed as in earlier times. In each stage of history, being is both disclosed and concealed, meaning we understand disclosed and do not understand concealed things. And here, Heidegger does not say that things were disclosed back then compared to modern times, but for him, there is a danger in our understanding of being. Thus, science and technology, for Heidegger, are the complete goal of metaphysics that began with Plato, treating being as presence or present as a mode of time, and projecting onto this presence the idea or concept or creation of philosophical imagination. This implies that being has diminished its value in the present, making the present contingent on the ideas of the mind. For instance, In a typical philosophy class where various philosophical topics are discussed, the lecturer provides an example, such as Plato's world of forms, to illustrate how we understand things. We grasp that a chair exists because of its form or the chairness of the chair as the primary reason for its existence in the Platonic sense. Various philosophical concepts are used to comprehend this. Here, Heidegger asserts that when the lecturer raises question about being, he himself undermines the chance to understand being. Because once asked, he narrows down the time to the current moment and declares that the thing in this present moment is a physical entity with presence, a something without further meaning, dismissing aspects such as its potential, history, where it's heading, and where it came from. This is our understanding here, and it merely represents being as the current moment, which is not favorable for Heidegger, and utilizes ideas from the mind where ideas stem from the current moment, serving as a key to understand the thing used as an example. Here, first, time is narrowed down to the present, and second, it is judged that the concept of a thing currently in our minds is key to understanding the thing undergoing disclosure. So, how can we overcome or dignify the defiance of being in its true revelation to us? According to Heidegger, this can be achieved by returning to the concept of aletheia, or truth as disclosure or unconcealment, rather than an exact representation or propositional truth in all the philosophical ideas that have emerged over the past 2,000 years. Only in this way can the mysterious and non-entitative disclosure of being be protected, because the disclosure of being contains mystery. So the human goal is to think about it without destroying it or eliminating the possibility of understanding it in a nuanced way. In connection to this, Heidegger does not state that an examination of technology implies rebellion or destruction of it, but a return to the hidden truth enveloped by technology, because technology itself is a creative activity. Returning to the creative act in developing technology is a way to understand what lies beneath technology, or the essence of technology. Here, Heidegger's goal is for a historical examination of humanity's mistake, and in these stages, humanity creates something special. And this creation can be considered unique because being reveals itself in every creation of unique and new things. The problem is that humans are focused only on the created thing, technology, leading to the point of forgetting about being beneath these things. Therefore, due to the intense interest in technology, people forget to revisit its origin. The human need is not just the disappearance of technology, as we don't need to go back to the Stone Age, but sensitivity to the truth or the original aletheia, or what it reveals and the use of or the essence of technology. Here, being itself must allow enframing, meaning the technological enframing of the world is permitted by being. Because for Heidegger, everything existing in the world is allowed by being. Therefore, by allowing being under enframing, it allows itself to forget, meaning being provides humans with marvelous ways, where humans are given the opportunity to let being remain a secret. Thus, the human goal is to resist it towards unconcealment or its revelation. Therefore, amid our most complex issues, this is the place where we can see and understand what we have left behind and concealed from ourselves. To achieve this, humans don't need philosophy, according to Heidegger, but thinking. And in thinking about technology, it's necessary to return to the ancient Greek concept of techne, or practical arts like sculpture and shoemaking. Returning to the concept of techne, the idea of art and the value or practical creation can be found. This is Heidegger's aim, to return to this concept. In connection to this, in his essay in 1996 titled The End of Philosophy and the Task of Thinking, Heidegger drew attention to the remarkable statement that cybernetics, or information technology, now known as the telecommunications revolution, is the event of philosophy because it is a will to power that understands reality as pure information, and information is something easily accessible to the mind. To comprehend being as information that can be presented in Plato's philosophy, where the true reality or meaning of things is an idea. For Heidegger, philosophy has reached this point today through science and technology because he believes that it fulfills the goal conceived by Plato 2,400 years ago. Because information technology fulfills the dream of gaining power under being and removing the idea as the idea itself and treating being as an entity. Therefore, Heidegger's aspiration at the end of philosophy is a new thinking, described by Heidegger as the opening of aletheia, or the disclosure as the origin of being and thinking and everything known to humanity. As this new mode of practice is called by Heidegger as ecstatic, derived from the word ecstasy, where by discarding concepts about being, Heidegger rejects it through what he describes as ontological poetry, a non-propositional form of writing with a departure from normal logical analysis or the writing in practice concerning the state of being itself. Here, many have interpreted the philosophy of late Heidegger as a religious and mystical stage in Heidegger's thinking. But whatever Heidegger's motivation for this new stage of practice, his singular goal remains the same: the end of philosophy as a wrong genre towards a poetic understanding of being or existence.